Welcome to the Total Spray Droplet Management Series Part 2. Previously, we discussed the importance of successful spray applications by focusing on the three key areas of total spray droplet management: in the tank, through the air, and on the target. In this segment, we will discuss the agronomic reasons and risks associated with spray applications.
So let's talk about why total spray droplet management makes sense from an agronomic standpoint. So if total spray droplet management was just about controlling drift, our job as applicators would be over pretty quickly. We could make really big fat droplets and not be concerned about the fate of those droplets at all. But the fact is, depending on what we're applying, we need to consider the use of the right nozzle and the right adjuvant to make sure we create the right size droplets for the materials we're spraying. That's critical because it's going to have a big impact on spray droplet retention. Little known fact is that large droplets are not very easily retained on leaf surfaces, whereas smaller droplets are. But the problem is smaller droplets are vulnerable to drift, large droplets are not easily retained. So we need to think about how adjuvant technologies, along with the nozzle we're using, can work together to ensure better droplet retention on the leaf surface. And if we can get better droplet retention on the leaf surface, then we can start thinking about coverage. And how is that droplet actually covering the leaf surface and setting up the stage for proper absorption into the plant? So what if we don't embrace total spray droplet management? What if we stay on the path of managing only one or two attributes of our spray application? Well, quite truthfully, there's a greater level of risk in terms of lack of efficacy. We're going to see lower levels of performance, and when we start fighting resistant weed species, that'll come back to haunt us very quickly. There's also the risk of loss of investment. We spend a lot of money on our spray solutions to do a job in a certain area, and if we're not adopting total spray droplet management, we run the risk of losing part of our investment and even potentially having to respray again and spend more money to get the job done that we should have gotten done the first time. And there's also the risk of exposure, not only to the environment and sensitive areas like water, but also to people too and our neighbors. And potentially there's a risk of damage to other crops, damage to sensitive foliage, and that's going to result in litigation. And there's nothing worse than sitting in a courtroom litigating out off-target movement or talking to a neighbor about the damage or perceived damage that you've caused to her property, her family, or her pets.